what we're talking about here is there's this product called Adapt X1. And what it is it's purified water and micronized early growth monocot plants, which have polyphenols in them, which are really, really, really highly effective antioxidants and adaptogen herbs. And so the company that Michaela and Harry and I are part of just opened on July 4th here in the States. It's in a quarter of the world now is how far they ship things out. So it's still very new though. And who she was just talking about, Dr. Don Copeland, he bought this medical research in 1999 about these field mice that were reproducing. Hey, Andy. Andy, I'm just going to keep going. I was just starting with the medical research, so you can ask a question when I come up for air. So the field mice, there was these studies that these field mice were reproducing only at a certain time of year. And so they did research, there was research, and that, and essentially it was because they were eating the early growth of these monocot plants. Nobody did anything with the research until Dr. Copeland saw it and was like, I'm going to buy the rights to this, because if it's found that these early monocot plants were affecting these mice serotonin levels, and if serotonin has 13 other pathways in addition to sexual function and libido, and humans have serotonin, what will this do if we put this in humans? And so for the last 13 years, Adapt has been used by people and for livestock and top feed and in animals. And he's been selling it essentially as a sole proprietor, but then they formed this company. And so that's how we all got to this, because it's an MLM where you can make your residual income. You know what an MLM is? A multi-level marketing company.
Yeah.
And the way they're building this model is that it's customer first, where you try the product as a customer, and if you like it, then you change your status to build a business. Whereas so many MLMs, it's all about just like recruiting distributors, and it's not really about the product. So that's a little bit of the overview of how we all got here. And hi, Roseanne. And so with Adapt, because it affects your serotonin, and your serotonin has 14 pathways in the body, people are getting huge results in so many areas, like their cardiovascular system, their bones. People for 13 years, there's, how many did he say? I think there's 20. There's a group, I think it's a group of 20 people that 6 years ago started taking it, and they have fibromyalgia. They haven't had any fibromyalgia symptoms since taking it. It works epigenetically, and epigenetics is the study of above the genes, is that our perception and the chemicals of like stress hormones or cortisol or adrenaline, if our cells are bathed in those chemicals, then our genes express them in dis-ease and pain. And so what this does is it works above the DNA. So essentially your genes get to say, oh, now I'm going to change things, and I'm actually going to express myself in a healthy way. And epigenetics has been like a field of research the last 40 years. And that's why I promote this, because like I have a podcast and I've been like building a reputation online for a couple of years. And so I wouldn't go out and like talk about a product that didn't make sense from you making the change within, because that's what I believe. I believe that our mind, like that a lot of things are mind over matter. And
Right.
so this actually, when I researched serotonin and saw that serotonin helps in your perception, which means your view of life. And if your view of life gets changed to be more positive, then the hormones that you secrete are going to be growth hormones. If the perception of life is negative, you secrete stress hormones. And when your body's living in so much stress for so long, it breaks down. So that's just one of the 14 ways it helps people. And if you too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And so a lot of people with fibromyalgia actually have too high of serotonin. So if you were to take this, people with fibromyalgia, you have to take it for 30 days to let all of your symptoms kind of dissipate, because your body changes. Your body doesn't change in a perfect sequence, right? Like you have a couple of health issues, so you probably know, like, one thing might feel better, but then another part of the problem feels worse. It's a spray, and it's micronized. So usually people start out with like 5 sprays in the morning and 5 sprays at night, and you just spray it in your mouth, like, and you start out with 5 in the morning, roughly, 5 at night, roughly, and you let your body start to change. So for me, I slept like 8 to 10 hours for the first week, solid sleep. Yeah. And then after that, I started needing less sleep. And so I switched to just having 1 to 3 sprays before bed. And then that way I was able to fall asleep and stay asleep. Do 5 in the morning, 5 at night. And if you have one sleepless night, then the next day, you just don't take it at night. Because if you give yourself enough, if you do too little, then you might not have any effect at all. And as you get healthier with it, you may need less and less sprays. And like, I still menstruate, and so I take more sprays when I'm PMSing. Or when I actually don't have PMS anymore because of this, but I take more if there's more stress in my life. It's used, actually, one of the patents that it's used for is an adjunct therapy for substance abuse. So our body, the part of our brain that has cravings, is also affected by this positively. So you might actually cut down on any, anything that you're using to alleviate stress.